everybody. It's Romania Black, and it's only been a couple months. We're on DanDaDan season 2. I'm calling it season 2 because the streaming service is calling it season 2. I know some people are going to be like, it's core 2 of season 1. We're just going to go with season 2. That's what the media's been calling it, and we're just going to settle with that. So we are back. It's been like 3 months, which is fine. It's been like 3 months, and I've been really excited to get back into DanDaDan. I have done my due diligence, y'all. I have done my due diligence. I have stayed spoiler-free for the last 3 months. I have avoided social media things, all that stuff. It's been a great time. But I'm excited to get back into it. Now, when we last left off with episode 12 of season 1, Momo is surrounded by these we think are maybe aliens. Surrounded by them, Gigi and Okorun have found a mysterious hole in the wall that goes to who knows what, and the townsfolk seem like they might not be townsfolk, so we kind of ended on a cliffhanger, so I'm really excited that it's come back and we're here. That's super exciting. One thing I want to know, we are going to watch the OP. Nobody told me on Discord today that I couldn't watch the OP, so we're just going to go with it. But what I was told is back with episode 12, Rest ETV Toro Beast 5330, I probably butchered that name. They said that if I decided to read the manga up until the point the season ends, make sure to read the one-shot called Profoundly Mysterious Kick the Can Battle. It's something that the show didn't cover at all, and it takes place after Ken and Momo started to let out their feelings after the naked hallway scene before Gigi shows up. So I was going to do that, but I thought I am going to ask the Discord just to be safe, because sometimes, as I've experienced with series like Natsume's Book of Friends, the mangaka has worked with the studio, and some of the things in the manga versus the anime adaptation are out of order. I've also had that happen with Apothecary Diaries this last spring, so I was like, I'm just gonna double check. And Truck and Geen are the moderators for this series, for this season, and Truck said they wanted me to wait. They said while it's a standalone chapter, and it generally doesn't matter where you read it, there is a throwaway line that's something that's going to be covered in season 2. So I would wait and watch the season first. I have too much trust in your ability to notice details. I'm glad Truck has faith in my observation skills, but that is true. If I did see something and then it was spoiled later on, I'd be like, oh, what? So I am glad. I will read the chapter. Do not worry, Resty TV. I will check it out, but it'll probably be at the end of the season, just because I want to be surprised. As you all know, I love being surprised when I watch shows, and I love theorizing and figuring it out. Even if I end up being wrong, I love when shows correct me, and I'm excited when shows correct me. Y'all know how that goes. And I'm really excited to see where this season goes. I'm assuming it's 12 episodes as well as season 1. So these next couple of months, the rest of summer going into fall, are going to be exciting. I do think it's interesting that we're going to be rounding out DanDaDan by October when it's like close to Halloween, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'm super excited, y'all. Thank you all so much for your comments. Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. I've been so excited for this second season for months. So I'm excited that we're finally here. But thank you all so much for supporting me, for liking, subscribing on YouTube, as well as joining me and subscribing on Patreon. All of my love. Thank you. But we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to dive into DanDaDan. They say it's episode 13 on the streaming service, but they also list it under season 2. Season 2, episode 1, episode 13, whatever. And we're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1. And I'll see you all on the other side. Welcome back to DanDaDan. What a weird episode. What a weird episode. I think the thing about it is that since this was maybe not meant to be a second season, but more of a second core, this definitely feels like just like a transitional episode. It doesn't feel like the episode that you start off a new season with, because it just throws you in the midst of the last episode and you're like, what the fudge? I think my jaw was on the floor the entire episode being like, I guess we're gonna do this. I do love DanDaDan because it is not afraid to just be bonkers. And you have to kind of embrace the bonkers. You have to embrace the bonkers. You have to like say, okay, we're going to be chaotic and crazy. But there's like a slight tongue in cheek to it. And it like this episode, it skirts the line real close where I'm like, I'm getting ready to slap it on the wrist. And I'm like, just hesitate, my hands like just over it. Like, do I slap the wrist? Do I slap the wrist? And I'm like, okay, all right, show you get away with it. But it gets dangerously close. But there is one thing that I can appreciate with DanDaDan is that it's not necessarily fan service, and it has a tongue-in-cheek quality to it that you kind of just go, okay, this is what they're doing. So my dog is going to want me to play with him, as you can hear as we go through the episode. But we pick up right where we left off. The one thing that will get me, and I'm going to just say it and get it out of the way now, but we're going to talk about the fact that Okarun and Gigi have like their shirts off, and like, why did they have their shirts off? Did they need their shirts off? No, they didn't. But, you know, and you could look at that and go, oh, well, see, Momo was targeted by those creepy keto men, and they were all trying to get up on her. But look, they did the same thing to Gigi and Okarun. So it's, you know, hashtag equity. My one thing, and I'm not saying that I want this to happen because I don't want it to happen at all. But if you notice in this episode, Momo is kind of like, it toes the line. It toes it like I'm sitting here being like ready to slap it, and it toes it. But she like gets semi-groped, like almost groped. Like the one guy, I think that in the bath scene, it's not as bad because she's like got the towel over her. Now, you know, in any other less tasteful series, they would take the towel off her and her boobs would be out, or she'd be in a compromising position. And she's not really in this scene, which is good. There's a scene in the house where the one guy grabs her and he like puts his hand on her thigh, which is like really sexual and gross. And that's where I was like about to slap the wrist again, but it doesn't go any further, which is good. But I will just say there are those moments where those actions happen to Momo. Instead, do we see any of those similar actions happen to Okarun or Gigi from the women characters? We do not. We see them like with their shirts off for no reason, getting beat with a club. That sucks for them. Hate that for them. But it's not quite equal because did they have like, was there a woman like trying to grab Okarun's chesticle? No, there wasn't. And so again, that's all I'll say about it. But it's like you're trying to be like, oh, we're being equal amongst the ladies and guys. You're not really, but you're trying. It's made great strides and progress compared to other series that I've watched that don't pay as much attention to such things. So I'll give it a pass. I'll give you a pass, DanDaDan. You get close. I'm watching you, but that's all I'll say about that. It's fine. We'll say that the animation is great. Like the bath scene, like they literally the guys look super creepy. The keto men look super creepy. And the bath scene, like, I don't know this animation studio. I don't know if they changed studios or swapped it over, outsourced it or whatever. The animation looked great this episode. It was really clean. Really clean. The fight scenes were really good. I liked that a lot. I also like that Momo, she is capable of taking care of herself to a point. She's not OP. She's not a Mary Sue. She can defend herself and use her psychic abilities, but there is a limit to them. And then Turbo Granny, there are a few characters that do a complete 180 on me in what I expected from them and coming to love them. I freaking love Turbo Granny. Turbo Granny's amazing. I love her character so much. She is a character that I don't want to leave now. I want her to stay in the story because she was just so good. And the continuity of her powers, making things lucky and luck favoring Momo. I loved Momo's drip, her backpack, her outfit, everything about it. It felt 90s. I loved it. The bathhouse just breaking. My thing is, these keto people are clearly not human. They're clearly not human. Their blood was like the color of ashen water. So I was like, were they made out of like the volcano? Were they inbred? Did people fuck the volcano? Pardon my sandwich. And then these people came around it and they're just like, you know, were they given supernatural abilities to protect the volcano? Is this a Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island scenario? There are questions I have. They aren't answered by this episode, but that's kind of the fun thing about DanDaDan is that if you're looking for answers to everything, you're not going to get it. And if the show tells you right off the bat, like it has in season one was really good because it set up this notion that there are supernatural things that will happen in DanDaDan. Some of them are ghost related, some of them are alien related, and if you're lucky, the show will tell you information. But you have to kind of, as the audience, sit back, relax, buckle in, and expect that you're either going to find things out through the exposition, or there is the possibility that some things just aren't going to be explained. Or the mangaka is waiting to explain them later, so you're just going to kind of get a taste of them now. It seems like they're just like, you know, the people of Vesuvius just reanimated and they just came back to life to protect the city from further volcanic eruptions, is what it feels like. I looked up the meaning of the word keto. It means homeward. It means steadfast, which is kind of cool. So it means like continuing this tradition of sacrificing people. Which is fun. But yeah, I also love that the people in the town are like, oh man, it's the Keto clan. They're at their shenanigans again. Like, this is a daily occurrence. I love that it's the Chamber of Commerce guys that just come after them. Again, this series has a very dry, weird sense of humor that I appreciate. I like the weird, dry sense of humor. I am all for it. So the fact that these Chamber of Commerce guys come at them. Also the fact that some of the people in the town look kind of like, am I saying that banjos would be playing and this is kind of like Deliverance? Am I saying the town might be a little bit of an inbred cult? Maybe. Who knows? But it gets that vibe. But this episode's called, like, This is the Legend of the Giant Snake. Love it. Love it. So yeah, also the little raccoon, one of the little raccoons in the corner at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I have one of them. Cute, adorable. It was sent to me. Love it. But yeah, so Momo is like, good, got out of that. I love her outfit. I love the reds, the oranges, the yellows. I love it. It's so cute. And I love her and Turbo Granny together. But Turbo Granny's saying that house has soaked up too much human blood. Bitch, love that. The wording of that was so great. I also love the idea that later on it's explained that it's soaked up too much human blood because the Keto family has literally been sacrificing people for 200 years. And they built, like, it's like Monty Python. We built this house and it sank into the swamp. Then we built another one and sank into the swamp. But the third one stood. I love it. It just great. And then we go immediately back to Gigi and Okarun being like, what is this? Also love that we find out the center of the house is where the serpent or the giant sandworm is. Love the quicksand and all that. And that it leads down to the houses that was just built up over. My thing is Gigi. Gigi, my dude. Gigi, my dude, are you that naive, sir? Those people didn't look freaky weird to you? Okay. I mean, I guess some people... You know what? He's a teenage boy. And I have dealt with some students at work lately that I looked at them and went, okay. So, you know what? My work this week, I've met some people that are like, Gigi, I do believe it. I do believe he would let them in his house and not be aware that they're creepy. I do believe it, actually. He is that gullible. Bless his heart. My thing is, he was having visions of this alien throughout being in the house. And he talked about that last season. He had visions. We think it's an alien. We don't know. It could be a ghost. We don't know. It looked kind of like the aliens, maybe. But the question is, or it could be a ghost, though. It did kind of look like a ghost. I don't know. Whatever the show determines to give us. So it's like, is there something else? I thought maybe when we came back to the house, the ghost would like be possessing the house, or the alien would be like using it as its home base or something. And then we had this whole thing with the Keto family instead, and it's their house that they've been using to sacrifice people in, like a bunch of damn serial killers for the last 200 years. So the question is, what are we going to do about Gigi seeing visions of this ghost or alien? How is that going to tie back to the house? Is the ghost or alien working with the Keto family? Is it the spirit of the snake or the sandworm? Is it something else entirely? We don't know, right? And his parents are hospitalized, so were they going to be on the chopping block too to be sacrificed? Because there was 3 of them. There were the 2 parents and Gigi. So were they kind of kicking around waiting for the parents to get better, and then they were going to sacrifice all 3 of them? I don't know. I do love the OP a lot. The OP is so cool. I like when shows do the OPs and try not to immediately follow the same vibe as the last OP, because it's kind of like lightning in a bottle. The original DanDaDan, that OP is so good, you can't recreate it. So it's like you either it's going to seem like a cheap knockoff or imitation, or you need to go somewhere totally different with the OP. And this one goes totally different, and it works really, really well. I like that. So yeah, and who knows, maybe Gigi is not dumb and he's just scared. And so he lets these people, and he did say he was desperate. He needed a place to stay while his parents were hospitalized. If his parents were cool with him staying with these people, I don't know. But I do understand why Gigi would be like, I didn't want to, be a burden. And so these people were kind enough to let me stay at their house. And I'm like, but Gigi, the red flags are everywhere, sir. What do we do? So yeah, I'm gonna get back to where we were in this episode. But yeah, so Okaroon is kind of like, I don't know what to do about this situation, but I don't know what else we can do. And so these people are like naturally suspicious, which we come to find out they were going to sacrifice them anyway. It seems like they were trying to get Gigi in a place where it would not feel as suspicious if they jumped him or not. But I love Okaroon being observant and noticing that Saint Germain is his favorite team, and Gigi's kind of like, oh, there was one moment where he said the team name to the one keto man, and Gigi was kind of scared, and I'm like, why were you scared? That was the right answer. So I don't know. But also, how did that one guy know? I guess maybe Gigi told him that was his favorite team. I don't know. But yeah, the main keto woman, the one with the unibrow and the fro and the gun, she looked like a damn One Piece character. I can't describe it, but she looks like she would be in One Piece, and Luffy would have to like just punch the bejesus out of her. I don't know. But the character design is great. It's just like these characters, they look so crazy and off-putting compared to Momo and Okaroon and Gigi. I'm like, y'all didn't notice? Y'all didn't notice that they looked a little bit off. Okay. And the way that their eyes are, like I said, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief with DanDaDan, because part of the kooky character design and the characters not being aware and the designs just getting weirder and weirder in their expressions, it kind of like comes with the territory, and it's just part of the joke, and it's the style and aesthetic, and you just kind of have to sit back and accept that, okay, this is what we're going to do. It's great. It's great. But yeah. So we have the scene, the one guy that's trying to be a bootuber, he was funny. And this scene here where Momo goes to see the snake spirit, and then it ends up being like what he shows her is not the real thing. It's like a hoax. But I love the concept of during this entire moment where she's trying to see the Tsuchino spirit, and it's like just a snake skin. That's kind of cool. But she's sitting there going, I want to bring back Okaroon. I want to bring back Okaroon to come see this. And that's so sweet. Like, she's thinking of things that they can do together as friends or more than that. And that's so cute and considerate of her. I love that. It's a shame there's no time because of all the insanity happening. But that's so cute that she's thinking of wanting to do that, right? So we get the exposition that this volcano, this town, ding-a-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding, worship this giant snake and sacrifice people to satiate its hunger. And she's like, what the fudge? Also, this guy with the triple unibrow, he's like, people do like to come to visit. And he says, what does he say there? What does he say? People who are robbed. I liked this line here where he says, this legend of the giant snake is a human sin. People who are robbed of logical thinking due to fear. I love that phrase, that translation, robbed of logical thinking due to fear, because we see so much of it in our current state where people are so scared they don't think about things, right? I love that lesson there. He says they can believe in and execute human sacrifices. Yeah, if you are so scared of being in danger, your kind of logical thinking and morality gets kind of thrown to the wind. And this guy suggesting that the people were so scared in the village that they thought the human sacrifices would save them and were willing to commit such atrocities to save themselves. And it's like, we haven't seen that happen throughout history at all. So yeah, and then Momo's like, I didn't come here for a history lesson. And then the most satirical part of this is that he gives this like really deep introspection into human condition and being able to waver morality for the sake of self-preservation. And then he's like, but I really want to be a headstand bootuber. The humor is so clever. I love it. I love it so much. And she's like, why don't you just tell these stories in your videos? Wouldn't that be cool? And he's like, like just, oh, he has like the raven, like, oh, like the moment of clarification, of realization. So she said there's no Tsuchinoko. No Tsuchinoko, that's the name. But she's like, oh, Okarun might want to know about the old folktale story, which is cute. And then she says, I wonder if the two boys are deepening their friendship. If by deepening friendship you mean getting the shit beat out of them, yeah, I guess. I do feel bad for them. Although, damn, Gigi playing soccer. Do I need to start playing soccer so I can have an 8-pack? Maybe. Maybe at least, you know, Okarun's got the running thing going. Also, what I liked about the fight scene with Momo and the guys was that the animation, it felt like there was such weight. Like when she kicked, when she moved them around, it's hard to describe, but it felt, you could feel the heaviness of it. Like her movements had weight to them, which is really good animation. I loved that a lot. And then I kept being like, are they gray colored because they're made of parts of the volcano? Did parts of the volcano become sentient? I don't know. And then, you know, Turbo Granny helps her. That's when we have the groping scene, which no thank you. I like Turbo Granny. It's also very symbolic because Turbo Granny is, you know, a spirit that has been helping to get revenge on women who were assaulted. So whenever Momo's like about to get assaulted, Turbo Granny just happens to wake up and it's like, see what you're doing, show. I see what you're doing. And Momo's like, you know, you could help me. And she's like, no. She's like, does the Bugs Bunny meme of no. So she gets kicked and knocks a hole in the damn wall. The animation with the keto woman doing the Jennifer Lopez anaconda, which now the anaconda part makes more sense because they're trying to feed a snake. But the Jennifer Lopez, I mean, you would think she'd say Nicki Minaj anaconda, but I don't know this mangaka's theories here. Man. Lots of Jennifers getting love in anime lately. You have Jennifer Lawrence in Jujutsu Kaisen. You have Jennifer Lopez and in DanDaDan. Why not? So the mom, the one that has the afro is the mom, the strongest old woman in the keto family. And so what's interesting is they don't seem to understand what power Momo has. So I'm like, what is their deal? What are they? Are they ghosts? Are they aliens? What is happening? Are they like supernatural beings shaped from the volcano? We don't know. What we do know is that this room is where the sacrifice for the festival is going to take place. I also like the little, like, while everything's getting explained to Momo and how the keto family's protected the land for generations or whatever, it's like, you see Turbo Granny like looking around, kind of assessing the room to figure out what it is, even if she's not going to tell them because she's a spiteful old lady trapped in a little Neko body. But yeah, I did not expect for the room to be quicksand. I did not expect that. I like Mom was like, sacrifices? What? And then that's when she says, wait a minute. They were like, we're going to offer them the great serpent lord. And she's like, oh. She's like, no way. She's like, that's why Gigi's parents were hospitalized. So yeah, they get sucked down into the pit. I loved the moment that Gigi and Okarun took that couch and just barreled over with them. That was great. Loved that. Also, damn, Gigi has worked out. He's got a damn 8-pack. Y'all. Also, super cute Momo saving Okaroon and like helping them land. Poor Gigi though. I actually feel a little bit bad for Gigi because he like nearly fell to his death. Like my poor dude. So then they get into the house, but before that happens, this giant worm appears, which, oh my god, the foreshadowing of the book from last episode, and it was on the magazine. I was just thinking it was like a Dune reference. I thought it was like a Dune reference or Beetlejuice or Tremors, mainly Dune though. I thought it was just a reference to that, and I was like, oh, that's fun. But I did not expect to see this giant thing. And the way I'm wondering if, because here's the thing, the sun, the way that it like glows, the way that like its little like halo where its mouths open up, that part like glows like a sun. So the way that it glows is kind of similar to the way that the Kitos family's eyes glow. So I'm like, are they all connected in this? I wondered when they started doing their dance and they were doing like their little ceremony, I thought this would be hilarious and very on brand with DanDaDan humor if the sandworm just eats them instead and then continues to go after Momo and them because it can't discern who it decides to eat or not. I would imagine in the past when they've sacrificed people to the sandworm, they've just tossed people into the quicksand and then up where they're safe do the little dance. But here they're down on the same level, so that's why the sandworm eats them, because it really doesn't give a shit who's getting sacrificed or eaten. It's going to try to eat them anyway. So yeah, I'm glad they all... Poor Gigi, he looks worse for wear. He got like one of his eyes taken out. So they call it a kuragari. So kuragari is what it's called, the Mongolian death worm. And then I love we do the flashback to last season. It's great. Looks a bit more terrifying than the magazine. Looks very terrifying. The multiple mouths get me. They're so gross. I'm like, ew, no thank you. So yeah, they're all doing their little dance. And I love Turbo Granny. She's like, what is she? The keto woman. And she's like, she's just an old hag. So I don't know. And they're like, that's not a god you're worshiping. It's just a man-eating earthworm. And they just keep doing the little dance. Again, it's so... Their little chibi forms are kind of cute. And I'm like, damn it, DanDaDan. Why are you making this like little meme-worthy gif? They're like, be appeased. And then they're like looking around for the sandworm. And then they hear it coming. And it just goes straight down and just swallows them up. In pure DanDaDan fashion. And their expressions, it ate them. What are we going to do? There's no way we can defeat something like this. So yeah, you see all the houses that have been slowly building up over one another all this time. What the fudge? Okay. How do they get back? It almost feels like a barrier. It feels like a barrier almost that they've been trapped inside. So they decide to go in a house. They're like, yeah, we can't stay outside. So they go into one of the houses that's been, sacrificed and buried. But, okay, so when Okaroon falls there, he starts to grab his head. And he's like, that thing's going to spot you. But here's the thing. They're all in the light freaking out. So why is it affecting them? Where did Turbo Granny go? She's not in the bag anymore. What is with the light shining on them? And why is Turbo Granny's powers going crazy? Okay. That is not explained. It is creepy that Okaroon like crawling towards them. I'm like, is Okaroon going to try to like eat Gigi's dick? It's like, is this about to become a BL? I know June just got over and we just started July, but what's about to happen? Which would not be good for Gigi because that's not consensual to Gigi. And also Okaroon has no interest, I'm sure, in real life of doing that. So it's kind of like a body horror-esque thing. But okay, inside the mouth of the worm, it looks like an eye. It looks like an eyeball or like a black sun. It's like there's the light coming from inside the worm, but it almost looks like an eyeball within mouths. What the fudge show? What? Creepy. And then yeah, Okaroon is like, that shot of Okaroon is really good with like the Turbo Granny like affecting him. What the fudge? What the fudge show? And then we get this extremely cute little party ED. There are some characters in the ED that I do not recognize, but I'm sure we're going to see them in the episode, so I'm not going to be worried about it. But yeah, what the fudge, show? What a crazy first episode back, right? I feel this felt like it very much felt like we picked up right where we left off. It was a transition episode. I have lots of questions. Like, but why? With the keto family, I'm hoping next episode the worm and the keto family gets explained. But what is going to happen with Gigi and Okonoon? Where is Turbo Granny? How are we getting out of this? You've got my attention, DanDaDan. And the thing is, I, for the first time with this series, am watching it week to week with you all. I get to watch it week to week with you all, which is so exciting and so much fun. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun watching week to week. This is coming out on a Thursday, and I'm going to have it ready for the following Wednesday per week, because that gives me time to edit and gives me time to, like, you know, get my wits about me to get ready for the next episode. But that's so exciting. So exciting. I'm ready. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen this season. But y'all, I know spoiling is going to be hard, but I'm curious to know your thoughts about this episode down below. And we'll just see where we go from here. But yes, so I hope y'all have a wonderful week. It's so good to be back with DanDaDan, but I also hope you have a great week. Stay safe, take care, and yeah. I'm back very soon with more DanDaDan. See y'all then.